I don't even know why we're listening to this. Oh, there it was, Emotional Rescue. Oh, I knew there was a reason. Makes me want to go. So how are you going tonight, Kim?
I'm going good. How are you going, Jeremy?
I'm good. It was a bit of a rush to get here, but it's Monday night, and that means that Kim's top 5.
There's actually tonight, so does that make Kim's top 10?
It's Kim's top 5. Hold on,
hello.
Get out of here, guys. We have our special guest. It's Kim's top 5. So there's 2.
Multiple Kims.
Switch over, gorgeous one. There you go. Birthday.
Happy birthday, Kimmy.
Thank you, lovely.
Kim Ellis, it's not your birthday tonight?
No, it's not my birthday. Mine was in June.
Well, that's good.
And I'm aging fast enough. I don't need 2 years.
We are so blessed to have you tonight.
Yay. So how is everyone?
We're great. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Did you have a good day for your birthday?
I did. Jeremy got my hair done for me. So
I'm multi-talented. Oh. I do all kinds of things.
Oh, perfect. Multitasking.
Yeah, cooked a dinner.
That's good.
Yes.
Did a hair.
Oh, you're a keeper, Jeremy. You're a keeper.
Well, that's good. So if Kim ditches me, at least I'll come and live in your place.
Yeah, of course.
So tonight we're talking emotional detox, which is something that you are amazing at. I mean, you have done so much in the world of women's brains and the whole, idea that, women think differently and, we are definitely caught up with our emotions in a different way to men. And I know that you've studied a lot about that and that's what you teach in your workshops.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm so excited
I guess I'll
to
just
listen to you.
Yeah, and I guess I've kept it fairly simple. We are very complex creatures, us women. We know that. We are wired slightly different to men. And I guess the way that I kind of look at it is, imagine you go walk into the Bunnings colour chart thing and all the colour cards are there. And men will see yellow, blue, red, green, and just the blue, the basic colours. If we look for a yellow, we see canary, lemon, sunflower, and it goes on and on and on and on. So women actually have a bigger limbic system within our brains, which means we have a bigger word vocabulary, but we also put our emotions into stories. And, men can go, I will just get over it. Well, it's easier. They can just get over it, but we tend to include into a story and we go over and over and over the story. So the more we continue to go over the story, what actually happens, imagine we've got like a track within our brain. So the more we tell the story, the deeper the track becomes. So it doesn't serve us to continue to keep telling the story. So we need to kind of create a new neurological pathway within the brain, which is neuroplasticity. So we need to create that new neurological pathway so we don't continue to tell the same story over and over again. And the track becomes deeper and deeper and deeper until we're so far down a hole that we just don't feel like we can come out of it. And I find the biggest problem that happens with, and I'm not just talking women, I'm talking people in general, children, men, women, everybody. The thing that happens is that we get so caught up in it that we actually put our life on hold. So the quicker we can learn to deal with some things and learn how to create new neurological pathways within the brain and stop going over the same story over and over and over again, because we're actually doing more harm to ourselves than good. So, you know, a little tip is, you know, if you've got a girlfriend that's going through a big stuff in her life, I mean, we're really good and we go, oh, tell me what happened. So she tells the story over and over and over again. And what we're actually doing, we're not actually helping her. So, you know, just some of the words and things that we use can be a huge help when we're, you know, trying to help other people. And we could say, you know, I'm really sorry that that's happened to you right now. But what do you think you can do about it? Because if we can get them into finding some answers, so if we use the word what, it automatically sends their subconscious mind into search mode, because you are the only one that has your answers. You are the only one that knows your unique blueprint. No psychologist, no counselor, no husband, no girlfriend, nobody except you. So if you can start asking yourself, so what do you think I can do? You know, what can I do about it? And just sit for a little minute. Your subconscious mind will search for the answers, and you'll start to become more solution orientated rather than feeling that the whole world's on top of you and you just can't get out of it. So just a little tip for you, just simple little words that you use. And I don't want to, I mean, I could talk to hours about all this stuff, but I won't. Because,
and I love that. I mean, when I used to supervise staff, I used to always say, you know, don't come to me whinging about the problems. Let's be solution focused and look at what we can do to fix the problem. And so I totally, you know, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and you know.
Can I interrupt? So,
yes.
How do you find the balance? Because, you know, as you said with blokes, you know, when there's a problem, we say, I'm just heading down to Bunnings to buy some materials so that we can build a bridge so that you can get over this. But what's the balance? Because you want to listen, you want to acknowledge, but you don't want to just get caught up in that crap.
Acknowledge that, you know, I'm really sorry that you're feeling that way right now, but what do you think we can do about it? You know, so, you know, be really sympathetic with them and empathize with them, but let's try and get them to start to search for some people have some big shit going on in their lives. People have had some pretty horrible things happen to them. I so get that. I so get that. But, you know, the more that we can take back our own power and, you know, stop pointing the finger, because if we're pointing the finger at somebody else, blame this person, blame that person, we've actually got one finger going that way and we've got three going back to us. So, you know, stop pointing the finger, take control. And I know sometimes it's really hard, but I think the most powerful thing that I've really come across in Young Living, which is my #1 selling kit that I love to sell, is the feelings kit. You know, it can make an absolute massive change in how you're feeling. You know, I've picked some people out of big dark holes with that feeling kit. And of course there's more work that can be done as well. But, you know, having that kit is incredibly powerful. It costs less than one visit to the psychologist. And it's, you know, what that can do for you is truly amazing. You know, it does, you know, and I've done a lot. I've just come back from Adelaide, you know, with working with a psychologist that's doing some actual work with neuroscientists and psychologists and all different people at Adelaide University. So he's actually got himself as part of the team of psychologists and stuff at Adelaide University, and I gifted him a set of the feelings kit, because, you know, he truly believes by bringing in that sense of smell can really support what the psychologists and what other therapists are using with their clients. So, you know, we know by crossing that blood-brain barrier and, you know, working with the amygdala, where the past traumas and all that's stored within our brain, that it can have such a profound effect on people as well. So, you know, it is a must. In fact, it was the first kit I ever bought. So when I first come into Young Living, I didn't even know you could start with a kit. So I just started with a bottle of progestins and a basic starter kit because I didn't even know that you could buy a kit. So, but when I did discover that there were kits available, that was the first kit that I bought because, you know, I've always had that interest to help others, you know, and it's an epidemic. You know, it is the number one, suicide is the number one cause of death within Australia for people up to 45. That's the statistic, which is a pretty scary statistic at the moment, to think suicide is the number one cause of death. So, you know, we can you know, we can help so many people. Just the frequency of those oils can really lift people up. So I'll start with what I, you know, I mean, I love this and I shout myself this every single quarter. I'm worth it. So, you know, I'm worth it to invest in myself, to, you know, to shout myself that. And I do. And every day for 30 days, if you want to make dramatic change, you need to make the commitment every day for 30 days to use that feelings kit. But also, you know that it's there if you just need it to pick something out. And I, you know, use oils out of that kit every single day. So my number one oil my number 5 will start it, because
okay.
Valor. Valor.
Yay.
So it absolutely builds that courage in times of feeling desperation and hopelessness. So if you feel that you're absolutely desperate, or you feel hopeless in a space where you just feel so hopeless within yourself, it helps to build your confidence and self-esteem. And it actually helps in aligning all the electrical energies within the body, helping you feel more grounded. And it kind of builds the bridge between the body and the oils, allowing the higher frequency oils to raise the frequency within your body. And I use Valor every single day on the bottom of my feet and on my heart. And just like I brush my teeth every day, I use Valor every day. So it's on my monthly order every month. So, you know, I really encourage you to, you know, really get into using Valor, because and look, there's multiple more things. I'm just giving you a little snapshot of some of the things that I absolutely use every day that I've found's been incredible to support me.
So Kim, can we just take a quick survey?
Yep.
Can we just take a quick survey? Who here uses Valor every day? Just quick, raise your hands.
I actually put it on the locus coeruleus, like the point at the top of my spine where my head rests, and the bottoms of my feet. And that way I'm looking at those electrical energies that run between those points. It's amazing.
Yeah, mine goes straight over my heart every day. So, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Can I just ask one question?
Look, your body's. Yeah.
Do we need to wait until we're having a crisis to use this stuff?
No, every day. It's an everyday oil. It's an absolute must every day. I don't wait till I'm in crisis, because it's harder to get out of a hole than if you can kind of keep yourself up and kind of be in balance. Because, you know, let's face it, life's pretty hectic and there's some big stuff going on out there. I mean, every single day I come across people that are in major crisis in their life. Every single day, multiple times a day, that are suffering, you know, with anxiety and all those other things that are, you know, that are going on out there. So, you know, we don't wait till we crash. We've got to try and keep ourselves above the wellness line. And that's something, you know, that I really work towards. So my number 4 oil is forgiveness. It helps us move past the barriers in your life. And of course, it's got a really high frequency, and it's at 192 megahertz. So I put that around my navel. These are my morning rituals, okay, that I use. And also just massage a little bit on the back of your ears. Just, you know, put a little drop on your finger and just massage in your ear, because we have a lot of emotional release points on our ears that, you know, we don't think about all the time. We need to forgive ourselves and others to be able to move forward in our life. And holding on to that head chatter and that bitterness that we have towards other, that resentment and betrayal and all the other stuff that many of us have got through, it actually paralyzes you. And it's like drinking poison, you know. So we have to move past that to be able to move forward in our life. And you know, so if you can just sit down and write yourself a list of all the things that have caused you pain, everything that's caused you pain, and also things that you've caused pain in others, because, you know, none of us are perfect. You know, we've all said things in haste that we may wish that we haven't said, you know, that have come out of our mouth. So, you know, if you're holding on to not only what other people have said to you or done to you, but things that you may have done to others that you're not so, you know, not so proud about. So we have to release those things. So it's really important that, you know, write yourself a list. And, you know, we can't keep spinning the wheels, because the more we keep telling those stories and going over those emotions within our head, you know, we're going to drive ourselves crazy. So, you know, the old kookaburra. We've got to shut that kookaburra up, and we've got to learn how to deal with it. So I love Kimmy Brooks with the kookaburra. So I've invested myself in one because it so relates to, you know, take yourself out the picture and ask, what's the kookaburra saying? Okay, imagine that it's a gremlin or a kookaburra or whatever you want to associate it with, but take yourself out of the picture and take yourself into a secondary position and ask, what's the kookaburra saying to me? What's that story going over and over and over in my head? Because we need to get rid of the kookaburra. Otherwise, you're going to keep spinning the wheels, and you're not going to move forward in your life, in your business, in your relationships, and you're just going to go round and round and round until you drive yourself cuckoo. So it's, you know, it's really important that we learn to some skills to be able to work along yourself. And you know, and it's the only way you can get peace back into your life, and it's the only way that you can move forward in your life. And it's not just in Young Living, it's in your life, relationships and all of those things. Because, you know, I guess what actually happens is, you know, we have to be able to, I'm just going through, so, you know, if we're sitting in survival mode and we feel like we're only just existing, which, you know, many times I've sat in that spot and thought, oh my God, you know, there has to be more to life than this. I feel like I'm just existing. You know, many of us are sitting in that survival mode, and, you know, we can't move, you know, until we can actually start to look at ourselves, see what it is that we need to do for ourselves. You know, what is it? It's that self-nurturing. You know, that's not a luxury, it's a necessity. You know, so never feel, you know, women are so good at feeling guilty about things, or, you know, they think the only time that they think they can stop is if they're sick. You know, that's rubbish. You have to put yourself, oxygen mask on yourself first, so that then you can actually help others. So you can't actually get up to help others unless you've got the bottom layer sorted, yourself sorted, and then you can start to pour into others after you've got those layers. So, you know, if you feel like you're, you know, overwhelmed and so forth, you can't move through that next stage until you're actually gone past that base thing, started to help yourself, and then you can start to pour into others. Otherwise, it's like a bucket with all holes that, you know, it just keeps pouring out until you go further and further down. So, you know, oxygen mask on yourself first before you start pouring into others. And, you know, when going back to the problem, we've got to really work out what that problem is. So what actually happens is we start with the negative emotion or the negative feeling. Then we may have some negative beliefs or some virtuous beliefs. So virtuous beliefs are things that we've been brought up under. It might be, you know, the belief systems that have been put in place. All our belief systems are basically being formed by the time we're 8 years old. And they may not necessarily be your belief systems, but hey, that's what we've been brought up under. So it may be religious beliefs. It may be from school. It may be from your parents. You know, it may be from your friends. We've been brought up with all these belief systems that aren't necessarily our belief systems. They're virtuous beliefs. So, you know, stop and ask yourself, is this what I truly believe, or is this somebody else? You know, when did I start to believe this? Are they your belief systems or not? And then once we can work through all of those, we can actually get down to your core values. And your core values is what's important to you. You know, what makes your heart sing? And many people have no idea what makes them happy. So what is it that makes your heart sing? So until you can get back to your core values, that what's important to you. And the best way to do that is just sit with yourself in silence and ask yourself, what's important to me? And keep asking us, what's important to me? And keep writing those down until you get 5 or 6 points down. That's things that are really important to you. It may be things like flexibility. It may be things like helping others. It may be things like financial freedom. It may be, there's a whole list of things. There's no right, there's no wrong, but what's important to you? Nobody else, not your husband, your girlfriend, your mother, your sister, anybody, but what's important to you? And keep asking yourself that and writing it down until you really know what's important to you. Once you know what's important to you, then we can see if there's any negative emotions, virtuous beliefs, or any of those things around it that we need to deal with. What are those kookaburras around those things that are really important to you? They're the things that we can start to work on. So, you know, just take that little bit of time out. So, because once you've got your life that you're living in alignment with your core values, your life should just unfold. It shouldn't be a battle. You shouldn't be a struggle all the time. You know, it's not meant to be like that if we're living in alignment with our core values. And if we're not feeling so good, we're probably out of alignment with our core values and what's important to us. Okay, so you know, it's a simple question, but it's a very powerful thing to make sure that you're living in alignment with your core values. Okay, don't get me off. I'll get off track, see. I get very off track.
Oh no, I was
Can you see I'm passionate about it?
Yeah, we can.
That's a great thing.
I just want to go back to the points on the ear, and it's interesting that you talked about the points for forgiveness, because there are actually mother and father points on your ear, and by massaging your ear, you know, because a lot of us have issues sometimes. Well, my mum won't have much issues anyway. So, but like with our parents,
we all do. Yeah. And you know what, we've got to remember that, you know, everyone did the best that they knew at the time. Everyone, you know, our parents, our friends, everybody. It doesn't matter if people have hurt you or not hurt you. Everyone generally works and does the best that they can do at that time. Okay, that's it. It's spiral dynamics. We all resonate at different spirals, different frequencies. And we've got to just accept whatever happened, whether we agree or don't agree, they were doing the best that they knew at the time. Okay. And the only way that we can do that is have the acceptance. So the more that you can accept that they were doing the best that they knew at the time, the more that we can move forward in our life. It's really important to do that. Yeah. Okay, the other number 3 thing that there's an oil for that. I love that there's oils for all of these things. Okay, so white angelica is my number 3 oil, and it is something, again, it's on my essential reward order every month. And you know, if we need to, so the valor gives us the balance, and the white angelica protects us. Okay, and it's really important that this beautiful blend of 10 different oils, it's something that I create a ritual with every single day, and I use it as a perfume. it's part of my being a human diffuser. People stop me all the time and say, oh my God, you smell so good. And white angelica is part of that picture for me. But not only that, it really helps protect your energy field. So a simple thing, 3 drops in your palm. I start at the top of my head, and every morning, white angelica sits beside my bed. So before my feet hit the ground, it starts at the top, like 3 big breaths, top of the head, and then I just work my way down to the bottom of my feet. And I imagine that I'm in this beautiful big white bubble, and on the outside of that bubble is mirrors. I'm like a disco ball, and I'm returning all of that energy to others with love. Okay, that's how I see myself every day. I'm in a beautiful big bubble, but on the outside's the mirror, and that's returning the energy that I don't need, or they may not intentionally. Remember, if they're in a dark hole and their frequency is low and you're within 5 meters of them, that energy is automatically attached to your body. And they don't mean to put that bad energy out, but if they're in a dark space, you're copping their energy. So you need to protect yourself. And it's really important that, you know, that we protect ourselves around that. And that's something that I had to learn because, you know, when I was working with, you know, running retreats for women every 6 weeks, and 8 of them were in really dark holes, it took its toll on me. So that was something that I really did need to learn and visualize and make sure that was part of my morning ritual. I really encourage you to do that because, you know, there's a lot of people in dark places at the moment, and you know, we need to protect ourselves. But also, one of my highest values, or one of my core values, is to be able to help others. So, you know, if that's something that you truly love to do, well, you need to make sure that you've got yourself protected. Again,
yeah,
they don't mean to be where they are. It's just, you know, where they are in their life right now. And, you know, if I want to be helping others, I need to, you know, put my hand out to help. Well, I need to make sure that I'm, you know, that I'm the best of me. Remember, I've got to help myself before I can help others. So I can't pour my love into others until I've got myself fairly well sorted up on that triangle. Okay, number 2 is joy. And again, I love joy. And you need to think about times in your life and bring back those beautiful memories where you feel truly loved. And, you know, times that you have that beautiful joy in your heart, and, you know, you feel love, you feel like you can overpour your love to others, that you feel like you've had lots of love blessed upon you. And again, it's the same thing, 3 drops in my hand, 3 inhalations, and then I just hold my heart, and I just sit with myself and talk, you know, just really think about the 3 things that I'm really grateful for every single day. Because if we can work from that place of gratitude, even if we, you know, life may not be so good at the moment, but truly go back to feeling that gratitude. And because when we sit in that place of grief and sadness, it actually shuts down our adrenal glands, and the frequency of the joy oil at 188 megahertz, it actually helps to open back up those adrenal glands. And, you know, we don't want that place where we've got cortisol, you know, being released from the brain constantly. That's like a chemical cocktail that goes within our body and creates all different horrible stuff going on within our body. So, you know, be really mindful of, you know, I was helping some people today, and who's, you know, and I just said to them, you know, really, joy's just such a beautiful oil that you can, within 22 seconds, lift people out of dark places. I've had so much incredible results from joy. So that's something, you know, that I recommend that you know, that you include in your ritual every day is joy. And it smells divine, you know, it just smells divine. Use it as a fragrance. You know, it actually causes that emotional balance within your body to keep you in a better place. And my number one oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was using Joy today in the staff room at school. At morning tea time, I said, does anyone need oil? And we had one teacher who needed peppermint because she was feeling a bit tired, so pepped her up. Another teacher who went with stress away because he was feeling just a little under the weather. But the other teacher, I said, what do you need? And she said, I don't know. I said, would you like a little bit more joy in your life? And she went, that would be amazing. And she loved joy. And it's like, it's happiness so in a bottle right there.
So one of the questions we just got asked was, one of the questions we just got asked was, where's the best place to use joy? Or how?
I like it on my heart. Yeah, I just like it to put it onto your heart. And it's something that, you know, carried in your handbag. I carry joy in my handbag. I really do, because, you know, if I'm out and about and I bump into somebody, or, you know, something's going on in their life, which, you know, is every day, I love to give them a few drops of joy and just get them to hold it onto their heart, and, you know, just send them with love. Send them with love. And, you know, that one little thing could change that person's life. Just that one thing. So, you know, pop that little bottle of joy into your handbag, and, you know, I think if you can, you know, just bless somebody else with a few drops of joy, it certainly can change their life completely just that day, you know. So, you know, I think we have to be a walking diffuser. We seriously do. And, you know, strangers will stop you if you just, you know, put those oils on, because people instantly resonate with you know, with things like white angelica, joy, and all those oils. They're really beautiful oils to put out. Valor, you know, all those oils are great to use.
Yeah.
And my number one oil that I love is the only time we have is present time. So it's the only time we have. Did you know that? Time moves so fast that the only thing we have. So, you know, again, learn to sit in silence with yourself, and, you know, your soul is the only one that knows your answer. So it might be a few drops of present time, sit with yourself, really, you know, find out what's going on within you in this present time, the things that are coming up. Write them down, you know, get them out, write them down. And, you know, I'm sure I can somewhere along the track teach you some stuff, some little things that you can use to, you know, just to be able, simple things that you can use in your everyday life, not the deep stuff that I do, but simple things that you can learn to use in your everyday life, that we can, you know, try and cut those neurological pathways and create some other beautiful pathways within your brain, because, you know, you are unique, you are loved, you are special, and there's nobody like you. How good's that? There's nobody like you, and the world needs you right now to be present. So, you know, more so than ever, we need to switch those lights on and shine brightly for others. And we need to stop looking at others for happiness. And, you know, because I say to people, what makes you happy? And they go, oh, my family makes me happy, or my husband makes me happy. No, you're the only one that you can make you happy. So stop looking for other people to make you happy. You know, you've got to work out for yourself what makes you happy, and, you know, what makes you feel loved, because you're the only one that has the answers for that. And happiness is an inside job, and you're the only one that has the answers for it. And if you can just learn to sit with yourself and look after yourself, you know, like it's not a luxury, it's a necessity to be able to do that. when we live in what's happened in the past, and we've all had shit going on in the past, and, you know, some of us have had bigger stuff than others go on in the past, and we keep bringing up those past memories and hurt, you know, they're the things that really keep us stuck and feeling sad and feeling overwhelmed. And, you know, we keep creating those stories within they're not stories, they're probably realities, but we keep cycling the same thing over and over and over again, and we're actually keeping ourselves stuck in those emotions. When we live too far in the future, what we do is we're creating worry and feeling that we're anxious and overwhelmed again. So, you know, like we just can't, what if this, what if that, you know, don't go there, because you're going to create some worry and some feeling anxious within yourself. So it's best to you know, just to keep in that present time if you can. You know, there's going to be emotional bumps and feelings, but the quicker we can bring ourselves back to present time, the better off we'll be, and then we'll start to have some control back over our life. You know, sometimes we just spiral out of control and just, you know, we're just existing. We're not really living. So it's really important to really bring yourself back to present time, because that is the only thing you'll have control of, is right now. Not tomorrow, not whenever. We know it's the only thing. And ask yourself, will it matter in 5 days? Will it matter in 5 years? You know, don't get yourself too far in front, because, you know, you just don't have control. All you're doing is creating anxiety and worry within yourself. And that's, you know, you're creating that. So stop it if that's what's going on within you. You know, don't create that. And there's a great video called Stop It. Google it. So YouTube, and it's a psychologist, and the patient goes in, and she goes to the psychologist, and he goes, stop it, stop it, stop it. And we've got to learn to stop it, because we actually create a lot of that stuff. So Google that on YouTube, and you'll have a laugh anyway. We've got to remember that nature is just being. You know, the trees, the everything's just being, and we are nature. You know, we are nature ourselves. So learn to start to be, not get ourselves out of control and in overwhelm, and, you know, create all those feelings within ourselves. And I always imagine that I have a syringe of energy every single day, and I actually get to choose how I use it. Nobody tells me how I've got to use my syringe of energy. I actually get to choose. How cool is that? So, you know, if I don't want to use it on somebody, I don't. You know, it doesn't mean I don't love them. It just means I don't choose to use my energy out of that syringe today on that person, okay? So, you know, sometimes when we feel like we're just worn out, you know, just bring yourself back. I've got this syringe of energy every day, and I actually get to choose how I use it. Is this something I choose to use it on? Is this something I want? Because if it's something that you don't want, don't use it. So, you know, if we keep thinking that I need to do this, I need to do that. So need is what causes a lot of fear within us. So need for approval, need to be noticed, need for significance are things that all cause fear within us. So, you know, try and change that word around a little bit and get rid of that word need. You don't need to do anything. You want to do it, or you don't want to do it. So they're the only things you need to ask yourself. Do I want to do this or not want to do it? Do I want to use this part of my syringe of energy or not? If it's no, don't do it. You know, nobody has a gun at the back of your head telling you have to do it. So, you know, make sure that you do what you want to do, not what you need to do. Okay, it's really important, because that's actually taking back the power within. And, you know, create your own happiness line. Imagine you've got this happy line. You know, you choose what your happy line looks like. And as I said, there's going to be some emotional bumps and feelings, but it's how you deal with those emotional bumps and feelings and bring yourself into awareness, the quicker you can negotiate those speed humps. So, you know, so it's just And the only way you can bring yourself back into awareness is, is sitting in silence, asking yourself, what can I do about this? It might be something that's really unpleasant, but ask yourself, what is it that I can do? And is this something I want to do? They're the most two powerful questions that you can use to bring yourself back into awareness. So just a few tips from me. I don't want to talk too long because I appreciate you all being on here. And I know that, we're part of an incredible company, an incredible tribe of people. And we all feel so blessed to be able to impart our natural gifts and different things to help each other. So have a fantastic night. Thanks, Kim and Jeremy, for having me on.
Yeah.
And
so let's just quickly wrap up those 5 in reverse order. So we had number 5 was Valor. Number 4 was Forgiveness. Number 3,
White Angelica.
Love it. Number 2 was Joy. And number
1, Present Time.
Kim, anything you want to say?
Oh, no. I mean, I'm a big fan of Present Time. I've told everyone before, I use it especially when I travel. It helps me, adjust to the time of the place that I'm in so that I'm actually being present. I'm one of those people who, I know a lot of people live in the past and they retell those stories. And I love that analogy that you gave before about that whole, the more that you tell the story, the more it embeds and that kind of stuff. Because I've certainly seen that in the work that I've done in the past with women. And whereas I'm someone who lives in the future, so I've got to keep using present time to keep me embedded in the present rather than like I've already planned out like in the future. So, but anyway, I was telling Jeremy that he's only allowed to do 1 oil, and he's got like a whole handful.
Well, it is time for my top 1, so I'll keep it really quick. You may not know this, Kim, but I have my own blend for emotional healing, support, encouragement, and I thought I'd just run it through. So I take a little bit of Idaho blue spruce, a little bit of cedarwood. I put in a dash of lemon. I add just a smidge of lavender, just a soupçon of ocotea because that's very highly spiritual. A dash of cedarwood. I put in some ylang ylang because I like the smell of that. That's nice. And then, of course, hinoki. It's beautiful. I put all that in a runner. I just mix it around a little bit, and I call this Shu Tran. It works pretty well. Or you could just buy Shu Tran from Young Living. They do a great version too. So.
We love Shu Tran.
Have you been planning that for ages or what?
Anyway,
we
Kim,
love you, Jeremy.
We appreciated your heart and your passion and your wisdom and your expertise, and we want to thank you for being part of.
We loved you.
And so much good stuff there. So I'm hoping that people are going to listen to that and unpack it and apply it because there's so much powerful stuff there. So thank you for sharing with us tonight.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And for the rest of you,
I just think we're in the right time at the right place, particularly with, launching into our Disney promotion and so forth. There's never been a better time to really work on what's going on here. Work with the Kookaburra. What is it that's going on? What are those things coming up? And, I'm really happy to share some little techniques with people that you can use with yourself and your children and stuff, because it's not what's happened, it's how it makes you feel. I feel sadness, or I feel angry, or I feel pissed off, or whatever it is. Whatever that emotion's coming up for you, that's the emotion that we need to deal with, not the story. The story's what gets you stuck. We need to work with how you're feeling, not the story, because the story, if we keep going over the story, we're going to end up in, we just keep going down and down and down into the, into the deeper hole. So, we've got to, yes, acknowledge that it's happened, and yes, it may be something really shit, but it's not the story what gets you stuck. It's how it made you feel. So it's the feeling that we need to work with. So once we can identify the feeling, well then there's we can work with the feeling and help you you know, let's just create a new neurological pathway, not go over the same track, because, you know, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
We talk so much about
and
ditching.
I think
we talk so much about ditching and switching the toxic chemicals, but here's another way of ditching and switching those negative patterns in our brain.
Oh yeah,
trading them up
yeah.
to
I'll tell
something
you,
much better.
our brain's powerful, and you know, do a little research into neuroplasticity. You know, we can change those thought patterns, but you know, we've got to work on the beliefs and the virtuous beliefs, so they're all underneath the negative emotions, and you know, like unpack it and then ditch it.
Yep.
You know, shoot
say
it
goodbye.
as far away as we can. Yeah. So thank you,
thank
everyone.
you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
We'll see you guys.
It's a pleasure. Bye.
And we told you Kim was amazing, so thank you so much for joining us.
All right.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Bye. Bye, everyone.